Hey guys, welcome to Cooking with Kwaw. I'm Michelle, owner of Quality Kitchen, and I'm starting this series to basically fuse different cultures' cuisines together to make new dishes. So today we'll be making an oxtail melt with plantain chips and a yogurt chimichurri sauce. I've never made this before, so this is the first time that I'll be making it with you guys. So y'all, we're gonna see how this goes. I mean, I made everything like separately, but as a cohesive dish I've never done before. I just laying in bed being greedy and I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be good. And then I'm like, okay, we gonna do it. So I hope you guys love it and just stay tuned. Right now I'm measing out my recipe for my Ghana sugar bread. So the bread will be a bread that is typically made in Ghana, and it's just like a sweet bread, and you can really eat it with anything, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. So I'm going to use that as my buns for this meal. Probably not going to use all the sugar, but active yeast is a very tricky ingredient. You got to be careful because if it gets in contact with salt or too hot of water, it's going to kill the yeast and then your bread won't rise. So I'm just clearing up my area before I bring it out. If it's a little too tough, then you add a little bit of water, but you add the water a little bit at a time. So now I'm about to transfer it to my KitchenAid mixer and let it knead for about 10 minutes. So while that's going, you just keep an eyeball on it to make sure that the dough is pulling from the sides of the KitchenAid bowl. That's when you know you have the perfect texture. If it's too loose, like if it's too much liquid, then you add a little bit of flour. So if it's too tough, you add water. If it's too liquidy, you add a little bit of flour. So just whichever one you need, you just go ahead and add that. So I'm gonna lock my KitchenAid in, and I'm just gonna so already it looks like it's a little too loose because you see it like sliding around in the bowl. So I'm gonna take my little cup and add in a little bit of flour. You don't want to overdo it because flour tends to expand very easily. Okay, bring down a little more water to it. Y'all looking at it like. While the bread is kneading in the KitchenAid mixer, I'm going to go ahead and start prepping my oxtails. So I'm going to do some bell peppers, and I'll also add some red onions and a few herbs and spices. I'll have it down in the caption below. And I'll just let it marinate for a little bit before it's pan seared, and then add a little bit of chicken stock and water and let that go on till it's fall off the bone, because we're making a melt, so we need the meat to be off the bone. new recipe. We are just trying this out, guys. But I think it's gonna be good. I don't make bad food. So we'll see how this all turns out. I'm very excited. It's gonna be a savory dish, it's gonna hug you back when you eat it. You know those kind of meals? Like, you don't want that meal to hug them back. Gonna do a little Scotch bonnet sauce. And some people call this the W sauce, Worcester sauce. They're like, yeah, whatever that W sauce is called. This ketchup, we're gonna see what this recipe is talking about. All right, let me grab some gloves. Okay. Make sure we get every oxtail piece and rub it on in. We're gonna let this marinate for like 15-20 minutes. Honestly, if you want it to be really, really good, you would do this overnight, but let's be real. But if you make this at home, marinate it overnight. The seasonings will go into the meat more and like break down into the enzymes of the meat and all of that good stuff. But it's still gonna be good regardless. So let's see. Yum, yum, yum. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna just cover this up and then set this in the fridge for about, the longer the better. So if you start with this process, then you can leave it in until like you put your bread in the pan and proof it and all of that. So the longer the better. 20 minutes, 30, 45, an hour, 24 hours. It's all up to you. I'm not scared to try stuff. Thing is spicy. Okay. Let me clear up this area, and then we can move on to putting the bread. Roll it up like a burrito. Really take the ends in. And then we're gonna proof it for about 30 minutes to an hour. Just until it doubles in size. So this oven is really cool because it has a function that'll allow you to proof your pastries. So I'm gonna put it in. Okay, so while our bread is proofing in the oven, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started on the chimichurri. So here I have some Italian parsley, I have oregano, I have some garlic, red onions, red wine vinegar, and salt, pepper, chili flakes, if preferred. I like chili flakes because I just like spicy stuff. And sometimes I like to counter the taste of chimichurri because it can be very tart with sugar, but not an excessive amount, like something to just balance the flavors out. So let's get into it. We're gonna take the parsley, most of it off the stems, along with oregano. Oregano is like a tree bark. Put it in your food, see what happens. It will definitely bite back. So make sure you take off the take the leaves off the stems, especially with the oregano. Parsley, you can have some like little pieces left just for texture, but not too much. This is the oregano. Make sure you pull them all off. So all of these ingredients are going to be minced, which is like finely chopped, and then it'll go in some olive oil, red wine vinegar, salt, pepper, all that good stuff. But this is going to be a yogurt chimichurri. So I'm going to add some labneh yogurt, which is Mediterranean. Chimichurri is Argentinian. So, you know, we got all these different cultures coming together. Let's just see if it tastes good. But I think it is, because I know how to taste things before it's actually a thing. I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing, but that's my trait. The longer all of these flavors get together and marinate, the better the flavor is. So you want to kind of mince everything up very nicely and put it in the olive oil, the red wine vinegar, and the spices that you have, and let it just sit for a little bit. That's how cooking is. Everything is about sitting and waiting and marinating and all that good stuff. That's what makes food good. So you do a nice fine chop on this. You could use a blender or a Ninja chopper if you want. It would be a lot faster. Just be careful, because you want to pulse it and not completely blend it. If you completely blend it, it's going to turn into, it'll be too fine for what you're trying to achieve. So do a nice chop on that. Gonna move on to the red onions now. It depends on how much you want in your sauce. We're gonna pull off the skin. Get that all out the way. We're also gonna do a nice small dice on these. So it's okay if your herbs get on the onions. They're all going in the same bowl. I think that's about enough. Remember, we're not making a heaping amount, just a little bit. I'm gonna add the rest of my onions to my oxtail. Never anything that's too much onions. Onions adds flavor. You can use yellow onion as well. The red onion is a lot more potent and like stronger. The yellow onion's a little bit on the sweeter side, but excited to try this chimichurri sauce, this yogurt chimichurri. I went to this restaurant. It's actually like one of my favorites. It's called Rumi's Kitchen. It's like a Persian restaurant, and they have this green sauce. I think they call it like chutney. They call it something, but it tastes like chimichurri, but it has a white tint to it. So that's where I got the idea. I'm like, hey, it's got to be chimichurri with a little bit of that yogurt y'all got back there. I love trying to figure out what restaurants do in the bag. Like, I'll work at a restaurant to find out y'all's secret recipe and be like, 2 weeks. I'm just, am I? So that's nice and spicy. I like it. Get this out of the way because we don't sugar. but I'm gonna jump straight into making the oxtail. I'm gonna make some browning, which is just like oil, butter, whatever, like you know, you decide to use, with some brown sugar until it like turns like a deep dark brown. That's what browning is. But you can also buy it in the stores if you like, but if you have the ingredients at home, why not? So I'm gonna put some butter in here. In my Le Creuset pan. I love this pan. It's heavy, like it's a weapon. You can throw it at somebody and I don't know if they're gonna make it. We're gonna let all that butter melt down. Take it around, bring it around. I'm gonna toss in about a tablespoon. This is 1/4, so it's gonna take a couple of these to make a tablespoon. And mix this all around. Make sure it dissolves into your butter very well, or your oil, whatever you're using. And it'll start to break down. So make sure you keep mixing. It's pretty much browning at this point. Ooh, the thing's hot. So I'm about to start by putting my oxtails in. This pot is really, really hot. I can see the smoke, literally. And the butter is even turned into brown butter now. It's past clarified, it's brown, but we have our browning. So I'm gonna put my oxtail nice and hot. Get a sizzle. So the reason why I love this pot is it's so big. Like, I don't need to do a couple rounds of oxtails. Granted, I didn't buy that much, but even if I bought a lot, one round will take care of all this oxtail. So I leave my mix on the side. I'm gonna brown both sides of the oxtail. After I brown both sides, I'll add the mix in there. I'll add my stock and then add a little bit of water. I'm gonna cover it up and I'm just gonna let it do its thing. So I just put the bread in the oven at 325 for about 20 minutes. I just got done slicing up the plantain and I'm gonna fry it so it'll be kind of like plantain chips. I'll take it out and I'll toss it in another seasoning, salt, get a little bit of flavor, and our oxtails are still going. So this is just a waiting game at this point. Y'all grab a drink, use the bathroom, I don't know, go do something. But be back before you burn something.